He was the man the world had been forced to look at, Elijah Vance. The name was spoken in whispers of awe in Silicon Valley, and with tremors of fear on Wall Street. At 34, he was the first self-made black man to build a $10 billion technology empire, Aegis Innovations, from nothing but code, coffee, and a cold, relentless fury. The cover of Forbes had called him the ghost in the machine. The name stuck. He was a man of precise angles, sharp suits, and a silence so profound it was louder than any threat. He lived in a 3-story penthouse that pierced the New York skyline, a fortress of glass and steel designed to look down on the city that had, for so long, refused to see him. He had everything, money in denominations he'd stopped counting, power that could make or break markets with a single word. An empire built to last, but Elijah Vance was empty. His success wasn't joy, it was armor. His billions weren't wealth, they were a weapon, and his entire life was a cold, calculated answer to a question a woman had asked him 10 years ago. A question that had broken him, and then forged him into the king of a cold, lonely castle. He was about to be forced to confront the ghost who haunted every room. The one person in the world who could still make him bleed. Elijah stood at the window, his reflection a dark silhouette against the city lights. It was 2 a.m. His desk, a single slab of black marble, was clear save for one tablet. His assistant, Simone, had been with him since the beginning. She was a sharp, brilliant black woman who ran his schedule with military precision. She was his gatekeeper, his fortress wall, and the only person alive who understood the fire that drove him. The intercom chimed, its soft electronic tone cutting the silence. Simone's voice, crisp and awake. "Eli, you're still in the tower. The London market's open in 3 hours. I'm aware, Simone." His voice was a low baritone, always calm. "Brooding won't increase our margins. I've told you this, but something came in that you need to see. It's a name from the past." Elijah tensed. His past was a locked, soundproof room he never visited. "Who?" "A legacy company. Hayes Textiles. They've been trying to get a meeting for a week. I've been blocking them. They're dinosaurs, Eli. Failing. Leveraged to the hilt. 30 years behind the times. They're looking for a bailout. Hayes." The name hit him like a physical blow, a cold fist clenching in his gut. He hadn't heard that name, hadn't allowed it to be spoken in his presence in a decade. "They're irrelevant," Elijah said, his voice colder now. "Tell them no." "I did," Simone said, politely, then firmly. "But they just sent a new private request, directly to your personal server, bypassing me. It's from the CEO, Arthur Hayes." Arthur, the father, the architect of his rage. Elijah's hand clenched. "What does he want?" "A meeting. He says it's a matter of corporate survival." But it's the postscript that got my attention. He wrote, "I believe this meeting will be of profound personal interest to you, as it concerns my daughter, Caroline." Caroline. If Hayes was a fist, Caroline was the blade. The ghost, the woman who had looked him in the eye, with her father's ice in her veins, and told him that his love was not, and would never be, enough. Elijah stared at his reflection. The man in the glass was unmovable, a billionaire, a titan. But inside, for one terrifying second, he was 24 again. Poor, brilliant, and standing in the rain outside her dorm, his heart turning to stone. "Put them on the schedule," he said. The words felt like shards of glass. "Eli, are you sure?" Simone's voice softened. "You don't need to do this. You don't owe them anything. Let me handle it. Let me bury them." "No?" His voice was flat. "I want to see them. I want to see him. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., my boardroom. And her, if he's foolish enough to bring her, then her too." He cut the connection. He didn't sleep. He stood at that window until the sun came up, watching the city wake. His mind a cold, clear engine of war. He was finally going to get the one thing his billions hadn't yet bought him: closure. The next morning, the boardroom was silent. The table was a 40-foot mirror of polished ebony. Elijah sat at the head, not in a throne, but in a simple, severe chair. He was perfectly still. Simone stood to his right, tablet in hand, her expression unreadable. At 10:01 a.m., the massive doors hissed open. Arthur Hayes walked in. He was older, grayer, but he still wore the same expression of casual, inherited arrogance. The expensive suit hung a little looser. The eyes, which Elijah remembered as sharp and dismissive, were now shadowed with a desperate, hungry fear. He was a king whose kingdom was on fire, and behind him was Caroline. She was not the sun-kissed girl he remembered. The bright golden hair was now a brittle, expensive blonde. The easy, laughing smile was gone, replaced by a tight, anxious line. She was thin, wearing a cream-colored suit that screamed old money, but her hands, clutching a leather portfolio, were trembling. She looked up. Her blue eyes met Elijah's, and the world stopped. Her face went pale, a stark, sickly white. She hadn't known. Her father, in his desperation, had hidden from her exactly who she was coming to beg. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. She looked at him, at the custom-tailored suit that cost more than her car, at the office that cost more than her entire ancestral home, at the cold, terrifying power that radiated from him. This was not the boy she had left. This was not the charity case her father had mocked. This was the man who owned the sky. "Mr. Hayes," Elijah said. His voice was calm, cutting the silence like a scalpel. He didn't stand. He didn't acknowledge Caroline, not even with a glance. "You have 10 minutes." Arthur, blinded by his own desperation, hadn't noticed the silent, violent explosion that had just occurred. He rushed forward, his hand outstretched, a fake, salesman's smile plastered on his face. "Mr. Vance, Elijah, a true honor. A true honor. I'm not sure if you remember my daughter, Caroline." "Sit," Elijah commanded. Arthur's hand froze, then dropped. He stumbled into a chair. Caroline, moving like a ghost, sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the table, her face ashen. "Mr. Hayes," Elijah continued, "my team values efficiency. According to our analysis, Hayes Textiles is functionally bankrupt. You have leveraged every asset. Your supply chain is a fossil, and your last 3 quarters have been a categorical disaster. You are not at a crossroads. You are at a cliff." Arthur's face turned a blotchy red. "Now see here. We have a legacy, a brand." "Your legacy is dead," Elijah said, his voice quiet. He leaned forward. "So I ask you again, why are you here? You're not looking for a partnership. You're looking for a handout. Beg. Arthur sputtered. "We need an acquisition, a tech infusion. We need," "You need," Elijah said, $300 million, cash, just to service your debt, before you can even think about infusing anything." Arthur's face went slack. The number was exact. How did you?" "My company is called Aegis Innovations, Mr. Hayes. Aegis, a shield. I know everything about everyone who tries to get in this room. I know you've been cooking your books since last May. I know you're personally liable for over $80 million in bad loans. I know you cashed out your wife's remaining stock last month without her approval. You're not just a bad CEO, you're a thief." Arthur looked like he'd been struck. "And you?" Elijah finally turned his gaze to Caroline. It was like being pinned by a beam of Arctic light. "You're here as collateral? As a mutual acquaintance? You're here to, what? Remind me of the good old days?" Caroline flinched, her eyes swimming in tears. "Eli, please, don't," he snapped. The single word was so sharp, so full of condensed rage, she physically recoiled. "Don't you ever use that name. Not in my building, not in my city. You lost that right. How dare you speak to my daughter?" Arthur began, his pride finally kicking in. Elijah stood up. The movement was sudden, fluid, and full of coiled violence. "How dare I? No, Arthur. How dare you? You who stood in your drafty, legacy drawing room and called me a charity case to my face. You who told her that any child we had would be a stain on your bloodline. You who come into my house, built with the grit and the brilliance you said I'd never have, and you try to use the very woman you poisoned against me as a bargaining chip. He walked around the table until he was standing over Arthur. You're not just a thief. You're a fool. He turned to Caroline. Her face was a mask of terror, and beneath it, a profound, soul-deep shame. 10 years ago, Elijah said, his voice low but alone. I stood in the rain and you broke my heart. You told me my ambition was a distraction. You told me my love wasn't a viable future. Well, look around you, Caroline. I am the future, and you're just a ghost, begging for a handout. Elijah, she whispered, the tears now tracking silently down her face. I didn't have a choice. We all have a choice, he said. He turned his back on her. Simone. Yes, Mr. Vance. Show Mr. Hayes and his daughter out, and then call security. Have them permanently barred from this building and all Aegis properties. Finally, call our legal team. I want to initiate a margin call on every outstanding loan Hayes Textiles has. I want them in receivership by Monday. Elijah, no! Caroline shot to her feet. You can't. It's not just us. There are. The meeting is over, Elijah said, walking to his window, presenting them with his back. A king dismissing his court. He heard her sob. He heard Arthur cursing, then begging. He heard Simone's calm, firm voice. He heard the hiss of the doors opening and then closing. He was alone. He stood at the window for a long, long time. The rage, the fire he had expected to feel. It was there, but it wasn't clean. It wasn't the triumph he had imagined. It tasted like ash. He had won. He had eviscerated them. So why did he still feel empty? He had broken them, but he hadn't broken the right thing. He buzzed his intercom. Simone. He's gone, she said. They're gone. Legal is already on the line. Are you okay? I want you to do something for me, he said, ignoring her question. Discreetly, off the books. I want to know everything about her, about Caroline. What happened after she left me? Who she married, if she married. He hesitated. Eli, he said, grandson, in the elevator, as he was leaving. He said, you're condemning my grandson. I want to know. You want to know if she has a child? Simone finished for him, her voice soft. Yes, find the child. Simone worked for 48 hours. She was not just an assistant. She was a world-class researcher, a digital ghost in her own right. She bypassed the standard searches. She went deep. Medical records, sealed school applications, private bank transfers. On the third day, she entered Elijah's office, not with a tablet, but with a single, sealed manila envelope. She placed it on his black marble desk. You were right to ask, she said, her voice heavy with something he couldn't name. It's not what you think. It's more complicated. Did she marry? He asked, not touching the envelope. No, she never married. She lives in the old Hayes estate, in the guest cottage, not the main house. Her father, he controls her, completely, through her, through the boy. Elijah's blood ran cold. The boy, his name is Leo Hayes. He's 9 years old. Simone paused. Eli, he was born 8 months after she left you. Elijah couldn't breathe. He did the math. 10 years ago, 8 months, he had a son. He's mine, he whispered. It wasn't a question. I ran a discrete DNA comparison, Simone said. From a water bottle Leo used at a school science fair, cross-referenced with your medical file. It's a 99.9% match. Congratulations. Or, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which. Elijah sank into his chair. A son. He had a son, a 9-year-old boy. His mind, usually so fast, so clear, was a fog. Why? He whispered. Why would she hide him? Why would she never tell me? Because he wouldn't let her, Simone said, her voice now hard. Arthur Hayes. I went deep, Eli. I found the original hospital records. The birth certificate. She named him Elijah, Leo Elijah Hayes. And then, 3 days later, a new certificate was filed. The Elijah was removed, and a trust was set up in Leo's name, but with Arthur as the sole executor. She was in a bad way after the birth. Postpartum depression, according to the records. Her father used it. He had her declared emotionally unstable and took financial control of her and the boy. Elijah felt a new kind of rage, a rage that was not cold but white-hot. He blackmailed her. He's been holding her son over her to keep her in line, to keep her and my son away from me. It gets worse, Simone said. She did try to tell you about 6 months after Leo was born. I found a trail, a dozen letters sent to your old apartment, emails sent to your First Aegis startup account. They were desperate, Eli, begging you to meet her, saying she'd made a terrible mistake, saying, "We have a son." I never got them, Elijah said, his mind racing back. That was when I was coding for 3 days straight. That was when you had that first assistant, Simone said, her voice dark. The one before me, the one you fired for incompetence. Reynolds, no, she wouldn't. She would, Simone said. I cross-referenced her bank statements. A week after the last email, a consulting fee of $25,000 was deposited into her account from a shell company owned by Hayes Textiles. Elijah stood up, the chair scraping back. He paid her off. He bought my old assistant to bury the letters, to block her, to make me think she'd vanished, to make her think I was ignoring her. He stole my son. He walked to the window. His son, a 9-year-old boy, a boy named Leo. He turned to Simone. What else? Tell me about him. Simone's face softened. She finally picked up her tablet. He's you, Eli. He's a genius, top of his class at a school that's not challenging him. He's quiet. The other kids, they think he's weird. He codes. In his spare time, he's already proficient in 3 languages your company developed. He told his teacher his hero is... She paused. Is who? You, Elijah Vance, the man on the magazines. He has no idea you're his father. He wants to be you. Elijah's throat tightened. The armor he'd worn for 10 years. It wasn't just cracked. It was shattered. The cold, empty king was a father. I have to... What are you going to do, Eli? Simone asked. You just declared war on his grandfather. You're about to bankrupt his entire family. You're going to destroy his mother's life. And then, what? Show up and say, "Hello, I'm your long-lost father." Elijah closed his eyes. The implications hit him. He had, in his rage, just pointed a cannon at his own child. Call legal, he said, his voice hoarse. What do I tell them? Pause the margin call. Pause everything. Tell them. New data has come to light. We're not destroying Hayes Textiles. Not yet. And then, get me a car, Elijah said, grabbing his jacket, and find out where that science fair is, the one Leo was in. Eli, what are ya? I'm not going to meet him, Elijah said. Not yet. I need to see him. I need to see my son. The school was an old, brick and ivy monstrosity, the kind of place that smelled like old money, floor wax, and entitlement. The gymnasium was packed with parents, all of them white, all of them wearing expensive, casual clothes. Elijah Vance walked in, and the room fell silent. It was like a panther walking into a poodle convention. He was in a simple, dark sweater and slacks, but he radiated an aura of power that was unmistakable. People stared, whispered. He ignored them. His eyes scanned the room, past the baking soda volcanoes and the potato batteries. And then he saw him. In the back corner, alone at a table, was a small, thin boy with a riot of dark, curly hair and Elijah's own sharp, intelligent eyes. He was hunched over a laptop, his fingers flying. Next to him, a complex series of lights and sensors was built out of what looked like spare parts. Elijah walked over. He stood there for a full minute, just watching. The boy didn't look up, he was so focused. He was muttering to himself, debugging his own code. "You've got a recursive loop in your if statement," Elijah said quietly. The boy froze. He looked up, his eyes wide. He was looking at the Elijah Vance, the man from his coding books. The boy stammered. "Your logic is sound," Elijah said, pointing to the screen. "But here, you're calling the function from within itself, without a proper else condition. You're creating a stack overflow. It's choking your processor." Leo, his son, stared at the screen, then back at Elijah. I knew it was something like that. I've been trying to. How did you? I've made that same mistake. Elijah's voice was thick with an emotion he couldn't name. "More times than I can count." You're him," Leo whispered. "You're Elijah Vance." "I am," Elijah said, kneeling to get on the boy's level. "And you're Leo. This is impressive. What is it?" It's a home security system," Leo said, his confidence suddenly returning. "For my mom, she gets scared. When my grandfather..." He stopped, his face clouding. "Anyway, it uses light sensors. If a beam is broken, it's supposed to send a text alert. But the loop was stopping the alert," Elijah finished. "Here, try this." He typed 3 lines of code. He rerouted the logic. "Now run it." Leo hit the run key. He waved his hand through the light beam. A second later, his phone, sitting on the table, buzzed. Leo's face exploded in a grin so bright, it was like seeing the sun. It was Caroline's smile. In his son's face, it worked. Leo shouted, jumping up and down. "It actually worked. You fixed it." "No," Elijah said, his heart aching. "You built it. I just tightened a screw. This is brilliant, Leo. Truly." "Leo, what is going on over here?" The voice was sharp. Caroline. She was rushing over, her face pale with panic. She'd seen him. She hadn't expected. "Mom, look. It's him. It's Elijah Vance. And he fixed my code. It works." Caroline stopped dead. She looked at Elijah, who was still kneeling, his eyes locked on their son. Then she looked at Leo, who was beaming with a pride and joy she hadn't seen in years. And then she looked back at Elijah. Her expression was a war, terror, shame, and a desperate, heartbreaking hope. "Elijah," she whispered. What are you doing here?" He stood up slowly. "I heard about the science fair. I was in the neighborhood. I came to see the next generation of innovators." "You came." She knew it was a lie. She could see it in his eyes. He knew. "He's amazing, Mom," Leo said, oblivious. He's just like me." Elijah's throat tightened. "He's more than amazing, Caroline. We need to go, Leo," Caroline said, grabbing her son's arm. "Now, your grandfather is waiting." "But Mom, the fair's not over. I wanted to show Mr. Vance." "Leo, now." Her voice was sharp, panicked. Leo's face fell. The light went out of him. He looked from his mother's terrified face to Elijah's pained one. "Yes, Mom." He started to pack his laptop. "Caroline," Elijah said, his voice low. Don't do this. Not to him. You don't understand," she whispered, her back to her son. "You have to go, please. If he sees you, if he knows you were here." "If he what? What can he do that he hasn't already done?" "He'll take him from me," she whispered, her eyes wide with a primal fear. "He will. He's threatened it. He'll say I'm unstable. He'll say I'm unfit. He'll take my son. Please, Elijah, you won. You have your empire. Don't take my son." She thought he was there to take Leo. She thought this was part of his revenge. "Caroline," he said, his voice softening. I'm not here to..." But she had already grabbed Leo's hand and was pulling him, almost running, toward the exit. Leo looked back over his shoulder, his face a mask of confusion and sadness. He looked at Elijah, the hero who had finally seen him, being pulled away for a reason he couldn't understand. Elijah stood alone in the gymnasium. He had just met his son. He had just connected with him. And he had just watched him get ripped away by the same fear that had stolen him 10 years ago. He walked out of that school, his face a mask of cold, unadulterated fury. This was no longer about revenge. This was no longer about a broken heart. This was about his son. He got back to his car, where Simone was waiting. "How was he?" she asked softly. "He's mine," Elijah said, his voice shaking. He's perfect, and he's trapped. He's poisoning them. He's using my son to control her. He's a monster," Simone finished. "We know, so what's the new plan?" Elijah looked at the school, then at the skyline of his city. The old plan was to destroy Hayes Textiles. The new plan is to take it. "I'm not going to bankrupt them. I'm going to buy them. I'm not going to destroy their legacy. I'm going to seize it. I'm going to take his company. I'm going to take his power. And I'm going to take my son, legally." "A hostile takeover," Simone said, a slow, dangerous smile spreading on her face. That's much louder than letting them die." "It has to be," Elijah said. "I'm not just saving a company. I'm freeing my family." He needed to see her again, but not as a king, not as a conqueror. He called Caroline's personal cell, a number Simone had procured. She answered on the 10th ring. Her voice was a terrified whisper. "Hello? It's me. Don't hang up." "Elijah, you can't call me." He checks my phone. "He's in a meeting on the 30th floor." "I know. I have 5 minutes. Meet me tonight, 8 p.m., the old coffee shop, the one by the campus, the Daily Grind." That place closed years ago." "I know," he said. "I bought the building last year. It's empty, but the lights will be on. Come alone. We need to talk. Not about your company, about our son." He hung up. That night, the Daily Grind was dark, except for a single light in the back. The neighborhood had changed, but the building was the same. He was waiting when she slipped in, wearing a simple coat, her hair pulled back. She looked like the girl he'd known, tired, scared, but for the first time, real. How did you know?" she whispered. "Simone, my assistant. She found everything, Caroline. The letters, the emails, Reynolds, the $25,000. I didn't know. I swear to you, I never got them. I would have..." "You would have what?" she said, her voice breaking. "Come running? Fought my father. Eli, he would have destroyed you. He would have had you arrested. He told me he'd claim you assaulted me. He had a file, Eli, on you, your friends. The time you got into a fight in high school. He was going to paint you as a violent thug. He was going to bury you. You left. To protect me," he realized. The anger, the coldness he'd held for her. It evaporated, replaced by a profound, aching sadness. "I didn't know what else to do," she cried, the dam of 10 years finally breaking. I was pregnant. I was terrified, and he gave me a choice. He said, "It's him or this child. If you stay with him, I'll destroy him. If you leave him, I'll take care of you." I thought I could leave and then find you later. But he never let me go. After Leo was born, I fell apart. I was so depressed, and he used it. He took control of my money, of my son, and he told me if I ever tried to contact you, if I ever told you about Leo, he would prove I was an unfit mother and I would never see my son again. And I'm weak. I couldn't lose my son, Eli, I couldn't. She was sobbing, collapsing onto one of the old cafe chairs. So I stayed in that guest cottage. I let him control me. I let you think I was racist, that I didn't love you. He sat across from her. His mind, for so long, had been a weapon. Now it was just a heart, aching. You thought I agreed with him? She whispered, horrified. That day, you thought. It didn't matter, he said, his voice hoarse. I just knew you were gone. I never stopped loving you. She whispered. I just wasn't strong enough. And now, he's going to lose the company, and he's blaming me. He's saying he's going to take Leo for good. That a judge will listen to him. No, Elijah said. The word was cold. Final. What? He's not going to take him. He's not going to touch him, and he's not going to lose the company. But you said, I'm not letting it fail. Elijah said, I'm taking it. I'm launching a hostile takeover. I'm buying every outstanding share. I'm seizing the debt. I'm going to own it. By Friday. You're buying it? To save us? I'm buying it, he said, meeting her eyes. To save my son. I'm buying it to get him out. Your father's control ends. The blackmail ends. He will have nothing. But what about me? You, Elijah stood up. You'll be free. You can be his mother. Without him. And us? She asked, her voice small, full of a hope he wouldn't touch us, he said, and the old coldness crept back in. There is no us, Caroline. There is a boy who needs his mother, and he took a deep breath, a boy who needs his father. I'm not doing this to get you back. I'm doing this to get him. She nodded, wiping her tears. She understood. The past. It was too much. What do you need me to do? Nothing, he said. Just be his mom. I'll handle your father. The takeover was not a negotiation. It was an execution. Elijah Vance didn't make an offer. He waged a war. He bought the debt from the banks. He bought out minority shareholders. He used his vast, limitless capital to seize a controlling interest in Hayes Textiles in less than 72 hours. On Friday morning, Arthur Hayes walked into his own boardroom for an emergency meeting, thinking he was going to beg for a new line of credit. Instead, he found Elijah Vance sitting at the head of his table. What is this? Arthur stammered. You can't be here. I can, Elijah said. As of 8:01 a.m. this morning, I am the majority shareholder and chairman of the board of this legacy. I own you. I own this company. I own this building. You. Arthur's face was purple. This is illegal. It's business, Elijah said. The kind you understand. I just did it better. Now, Arthur, you have 2 items on your agenda. First, you're going to resign from this board. Second, you are going to sign this. He slid a document across the table. What is it? It's a revised custody agreement. You are relinquishing all and any claims to your grandson, Leo Hayes. You are ceding your executorship of his trust to his mother, and you are agreeing to a permanent restraining order. You will not come within 500 yards of him, or his mother, or me, ever again. You bastard, Arthur seethed. You can't. He's my grandson. He's my son, Elijah said, his voice a low growl. And you are a racist, abusive thief who stole him. You blackmailed his mother. You tried to destroy me. You are lucky, so lucky, that I am not having you arrested. You have no proof. I have the $25,000 wire transfer to my ex-assistant. Reynolds, Elijah said calmly, I have the hospital records you tried to bury. I have the emails. I have the letters. I have everything. Sign the papers, Arthur, or I will not just take your company. I will take your freedom. Arthur stared at the pen. He was shaking. His entire world, his name, his power, his control. It was all gone. Reduced to a signature, he signed. His hand was a weak old man's scrawl. Good, Elijah said. He stood up. One last thing. You're fired. Your personal effects will be mailed to you. Security will see you out. My company, Arthur whispered, a broken man. My father's... It's my company now. Elijah said. "And I'm going to save it. I'm going to invest in it. I'm going to bring it into this century. I'm going to make it profitable. And my son, our son, will one day inherit it. Your legacy is secure, Arthur. It's just not yours anymore. It's his." Elijah walked out. He left Arthur Hayes sitting alone in the boardroom, a ghost in his own life. He didn't get back with Caroline. The wounds were too deep. The past was too poisoned. But they found something new. They found a partnership. He moved her and Leo out of the guest cottage and into a beautiful house near his house. He didn't control her. He empowered her. The trust was in her name. The house was in her name. She was, for the first time in her life, free. And he became a father. It was slow. It was awkward. He and Leo met in parks, at museums, in the giant sterile penthouse that slowly started to feel like a home. They built things. They coded. They just talked. Elijah, for the first time, took a vacation. He took his son to see the stars away from the city lights. One night, they were sitting on the balcony of the penthouse, looking out at the city. Leo, now 10, was leaning against him, asleep, a tablet with a half-finished game he was designing in his lap. Caroline was there. She had come by for dinner. She was sitting across from them, a soft, sad, but peaceful smile on her face. He looks just like you," she whispered. "When you're thinking. He's smarter than I was," Elijah said, his hand resting on his son's hair. "What you did, Eli, saving the company, saving me. I did it for him," he said. "I know," she said, "but thank you for letting me be his mom. You were always his mom, Caroline," he said. "You were just trapped." She nodded. The silence between them was no longer angry. It was settled. Elijah looked at his city, his empire, his kingdom. For 10 years, he had been the ghost in the machine, a cold, empty king. He had built this all as a monument to his own rage. He looked down at the sleeping boy in his arms, his son. He realized his empire wasn't his armor. It wasn't his weapon. It was his son's inheritance. He had won. He hadn't gotten the girl. He'd gotten something infinitely more important. He'd gotten his legacy. He'd gotten his family. And Elijah Vance, the man who had everything, finally had everything. He was no longer a ghost. He was, at last, a father.